Okay, John Cambre, ResponsAble Safety Staffing Companies. Thank you for coming today, dude.
Hey, man, happy to be here.
Man, this is a long time coming for me and you.
Long time.
We talked about podcasts. Now, unfortunately, this is like more business type podcast.
Yeah,
but
it's something we know a little bit about.
This may offshoot into something better. We got a lot of topics, but today we're gonna keep it like business centric. You cool with that?
I mean, yeah, to the best we can.
All right, so I got to start with your shoes, fresh. It's
Oh
good.
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's
Thanks.
good. John,
I appreciate that.
John is one of the guys that's got me into shoes, which is
I
ridiculous.
wore these for you. I know you like the Air Maxes. So these are one of my first pairs I think I ever got off the sneakers app. They kind of got me hooked.
Yeah.
I forgot what they call this one. Some kind of
It's like the Oregon Trail shoes.
something like that. Yeah.
I don't know.
I should have searched it out. We should have had that guy. You know, like how most podcasts have like a dude that searches
Jamie.
things real quick and pulls
Dude,
things
we
up.
got to get a Jamie. That's
Yeah.
Paul. Paul's
Yeah.
back there.
Yeah.
You can
Look
do it.
these up. We'll figure out which one these, which edition
Paul,
these
what
were.
you thinking? All right, ResponsAble, RA Safety.
That's right.
Love the company, love the culture, love the vibe. How did you start ResponsAble? Because like you're the dude, to me, that like, man, you like a lot of business owners that I work with, like you turned something, like nothing into something, and like took an idea and like have really expanded.
Yeah,
on it.
man, I appreciate that.
How did you start that thing?
I mean, I think that, the way that it started. So first of all, my father was a safety person his entire career. He's worked for OSHA. He was safety director at industrial facilities. And around the time I got out of college, he had actually gotten laid off from where he was working, and so he started a consulting company.
Yeah.
And I just graduated Northwestern with a Northwestern State.
Where's that located at?
In Natchitoches, Louisiana,
And what
the exotic town.
That's what I was about to. It's an exotic community. If anyone's wanting to go there.
Yeah, we're trying to keep this on track, but yes, Natchitoches seemed, coming from Baton Rouge, an exotic place.
I can't think of a better word for it. All right,
It is,
so
man.
So you came back to Baton Rouge.
So came back to Baton Rouge, and actually off a short period, I actually was over at McNeese Lake Charles, thinking I would be like a football strength and conditioning coach, but that chapter of my life was over. So yeah, came back, and Dad was starting a safety consulting company.
Yeah.
Needed a little bit of business help, which I don't know how much I could actually have been or was at that moment.
Right.
But I guess it all worked out. So Dad asked if I wanted to help out, and I did. So it was a safety consulting company called Gulf South Safety Consultants. That for us felt a lot like spaghetti on the wall.
Yeah.
Like we're just kind of seeing what sticks. Do you need a safety manual? Do you need an audit? Do you need some training?
Right.
And then people would need personnel right there. So we need a safety person for this project or for this safety initiative. And I was like, Dad, I think there's something there. There's safety companies, right?
Yeah.
Everything from consultants to safety services, to selling hard hat and some breathing air, and then there's staffing companies that do, admins and engineers. But I felt like there was a gap and a need for safety personnel. So around maybe 2009, 2010, we rebranded to ResponsAble Safety Staffing. I don't think it was ever an initiative of my father's to have like a large company with multiple employees and things like that. So things transitioned over to my management and now ownership of that company, of this company. And so that is kind of our origin story.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's been good.
So you got your start via your dad, but had actually morphed it into something totally different. Or something that rhymed, but it was definitely different.
That's right. Yeah. I kind of saw a need in the market, and I guess spearheaded that, if you will, to grow it into what it is now. And I still think we're very much at just like the tip of the iceberg of what our market share and potential is. So still working on that on the daily.
I'm glad you brought that up, because when I met you, like you to me are the vision guy. Like you have a big vision for your future. I'm not going to say what kind of vision boards you do, which was interesting, but
you don't do vision boards?
No, but I love that
you
do
about
that. I know we should do a vision board together
here on the podcast
with magazines and cut out pictures.
I told you we should have had like a helper, like get some construction
we
paper
need construction
and
paper.
magazines so we can just do this right quick.
But I thought it was wild when you told me that. But however, like the
I could
premise.
have brought it if you. I have one hanging up in my closet. I
I'm
can
sure
bring
you
it for
did. But the premise and what you did with that, and like how you described like where you saw your company going, I really hadn't been around many people that like was able to articulate clearly where they were heading.
Yeah, it's nice.
And you challenged me because I didn't have like big vision for Highland Wealth at that time.
Right.
And so like you mentored me in a way that you probably didn't even realize. I was like small thinking to some degree. Like you challenged that in a like good way. Like that's I think we need people in our life to show us what's possible, and we don't even know it ourselves, right?
That's right.
And so where does that come from? Like how do you have that vision quality, or how do you see out to the future? Like you've seen some big things and actually accomplish some of those things.
I mean, I think that the first thing that comes to mind is I just always been like a goal setter. That's just how I operate. If I don't have a goal or something I'm reaching for, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's not. I remember being as a kid, like writing down, like as I was an athlete, like I want to, this summer I want to be able to, bench press this much, squat this much, run my 40 in this time. Yeah. And then I just get hyper fixated on that goal. And I would take it to the point where I would, write down on like a sticky note and put it on my bathroom mirror and be like, these are things that, and so maybe I've just always been that way. Yeah. And I feel like if I don't have that, and I started answering that question about not having it, like I don't really know what it's like to not have a goal or a vision in place, because I've always kind of just worked that way. And so I think for my business standpoint is, you've got to have big vision and big goals. I talk with my staff about it, like having roof shots versus moon shots, like, so if you aim for the roof, if I was like kicking a soccer ball and my goal was just to kick it onto the roof. I mean, you could do that and you could pat each other on the back and be like, look how great we did, but even if you aim for the moon, which seems like a very lofty thing to do, and you come out shorter, then you still achieved way higher than what you maybe thought you could do. And so, I think from a vision standpoint, like, it's tough. And you come under the mark, and it is very tough sometimes to give your very best effort, what you feel was your very best effort, and still come in under what you wanted to do. But I think that also helps out too, though, is like, if I know this is where I want to go and things are happening that aren't getting me there, then those are really the kind of the most trying times to really sit down. And we've had some really good conversations. And I think if we're talking about ways that our friendship and partnership has challenged each other, is that those times where I'm coming up short, what are the things that you can do? And I think you mentioned it to me, like it's kind of from that book, The Gap and the Gain, where it's like, am I saying this right? Like what got you here isn't, you've got to figure out what's going to get you, you've done really well to get here, but now to get you to where you want to be, you've got to, do something different, and
the way I see that, The Gap and the Gain, is like, okay, a lot of times we don't look back. So like what you've accomplished between when you started and today is extraordinary. Like you've grown 10x a couple times. Right. But to get to your vision, that's the gap. And that's what we really focus on. Right. And so we've done it already. So we can do that. But a lot of times if we don't look back and say, look where we come, you really can't fathom like going over that gap.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too, is that like, and maybe I'm not saying it correctly as the way the book writes it, but like what got you here isn't necessarily going to get you there. Yeah. And so as an entrepreneur, that's kind of a tough thing, because I think, and I even see that sometime in our conversations, like we always want to try to do the new thing and the next thing. And I've actually had to temper that a little bit. And meaning that, not to be so eager just to switch directions, because, the last, 2 months, things didn't look exactly the way I wanted them to. So now I've got to do something completely different. Right. But to a certain degree, whenever you have that vision and you give your best effort and you come up short, to be able to look at, all right, well, these are the things that, I think contributed to that. These are the things that we need to focus on. And so, being able to have that vision, knowing where you want to go, because if you're just aimlessly, growing things, and then each, month, year, you're thinking about trying to do different things because you don't have a clear vision of what you want to do or where you want to be. Like having a clear vision helps you realize that you're moving in the right direction, and if you're not moving in the right direction, what things do you need to do to get you on track?
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. It says you're guiding North Star,
that's right.
kind of, and you make that North Star a really long way away.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Or we have,
keep,
right?
And keep pushing. I feel like someone I admire a lot often talks about how he has got like this traumatic memory of like whenever he was a kid and he jumped in the pool and, you know, to swim to his mom, and his mom just kept backing up.
Yeah.
And so you're never quite getting there, but that's kind of how it is in business. It's like, man, I'm working hard and I'm getting there and I'm making progress, but yet the goal just, you know, you're looking at the feet in the pool and they just keep backing up.
Yeah.
You never quite get there. So that's kind of a struggling thing, I think, as a business owner, someone really having lofty expectations and vision, is that, are you ever quite there? No, but that's okay and kind of part of it. So
yeah, that's cool. So another hot topic of today,
hot topic,
or maybe in my world, maybe not yours, is work-life balance, which I think is crap.
I was about to say, I can't believe you use those words.
Yeah. So I think you actually do this better than most, because I think you have, number one, like one of the reasons I really like you is I think you're a great dad and a great husband.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, and that's my number one. We talk about vision. That's my number one thing that I want to be.
John hires magicians for his kid's birthday party and then pawns them off onto me. And
I do. I heard him from my wife's birthday party. So right, there's a corporate rate.
Yeah,
that's where you messed up. You should have told them it was just for a kid's birthday, and they show up to Highland Wealth, and it's
John always has good ideas, and I get smoked by him somehow. But so you do a great job at work-life balance, which is crap that we just established. But like, okay, you're a great father, great husband. Okay, you're a great friend.
Oh,
like
man.
You've called me on a Friend Friday just to check in.
Friendship Friday,
which is incredible. I need to start doing that. I'm a horrible friend. And then you're an incredible business guy and running like this huge shop. So like, how you do all that?
Man, you know, and I think when we say work-life balance is kind of like a load of crap. Can we say crap?
We could say crap, but we're trying to keep it where we don't have to put an E on the
All right. So I think the reason that people say that is that, and yeah, it's a hot topic and everybody wants to talk about it, and you got to achieve work-life balance. But the thing is that, you know, I mean, I think I've heard people say, like, do you think like the greatest leaders and most successful people in the world ever were like, man, I really got to have a work-life balance? You know what I'm saying? I think where it gets difficult or even controversial, where like what we're talking about, where it's a load of crap, is that if you think of work and you think of life and it being in balance, that's two separate things, and they're constantly going to be in conflict with each other. If you're focused on work, then that means your life or lifestyle is lacking. Or if you're focused on your life and lifestyle, then your work is lacking. I think that's where the mistake is that the fact of the matter is, I think of it like circles and circles overlapping. So yeah, we've got being, you know, first and foremost, you know, having a good, you know, relationship, like, you know, that for me, this is the way I think about it. First and foremost, having a good like spiritual relationship, even things like mental health, because if I don't have like a positive state, mental health, physical health, then I can't be anything for anybody. So like, that's kind of number one. That's a circle, right? And then my relationship with my wife, then my relationship with my children, and then comes my work, and then comes, you know, friendships and hobbies and things like that. Now, these are all circles. Think of them like, you know, if they're all kind of on a piece of paper and I drew them out. Well, the idea is to have them overlap and not be competing with each other, right? Because if you're trying to, look, I'm gonna put my foot closer to you.
Oh, we're touching.
So if they're in constant conflict with each other, and that's just the thing. Like, and I had this conversation with my staff too, and I think and someone explained it to this way, and it was kind of enlightening. So hopefully this can help somebody. Is that you're always working, you know, and so my relationship with my wife, like my wife knows all the people who work for me. She knows, you know, all the things that are currently going on, good, bad, and ugly. I ask her for, you know, hey, I have this thing going on. How would you handle it? Amy was very successful in the medical sales world, and that's one of the things that attracted me to her, is that she's like a very smart, capable person. So I talked to her about my work, and she get, you know, so that's kind of, for me, that circles overlapping. And then also, like, my kids and family know that when dad's got to take a work trip or work late or be away, like they also know about my work. And like I used to joke and say that whenever I was leaving for work, I was like, hey, you know, I gotta go because I gotta go pay for that Disney trip. And they're like, well, you better get to it.
I want to go back to Disney.
You know
Disney family over here.
So I mean, I'm just, you know, trying to put it like in a context as like a child would like understand. So like they very much understand that, you know, that work is important to dad. And they support me. My wife supports me. So those are circles overlapping, and like our friendship. You know, we talk about work. We support each other. Yeah. You know, we hold each other accountable. So those are the circles overlapping. So, that's good. And you know, if I've got to go somewhere for work in the summer, you know, try to see if I can bring my wife along with me, or you know, like it's just that's what I mean by circles overlapping. They don't have to be in constant conflict with each other.
That's good.
And so I think that's where the work-life balance gets misconstrued. So I appreciate you saying that, and I work really hard to have the circles overlap, if you will. And you know, I like to think I do a decent job at it, because you know, it does. So there's certainly some time, and there's going to be seasons of life where the scales are tipped, you know, and things get really, really busy. And it's kind of, I don't know, you know, there's a Bible verse in that relates to it, as far as like, you know, you got to make hay while the sun is shining. So whenever the sun is shining, you've got to put forth the effort. But sometimes whenever things change, you know, whenever you got to sprint, you got to run hard. You're going to get exhausted. But also sometimes whenever you have an opportunity to, you know, just keep things at a slight jog, you just have to be aware of it and just not be extreme. Like, don't stop running. Don't run to exhaustion. You just got to find that balance. And I've done all of it in between. So,
well, you're a model for it for sure. So, I want to flip the script on it. Talking about business, talking about your company. You got a lot of employees now. What are you all up to now?
I've got 13 or 14 in the office. We keep hiring. And I should know that number off the top of my head, but we just hired like...
So close to 15. And then you got a lot in the field that you got to keep track
80,
of.
90 to 150, depending on the seasonality of the work.
So that's a lot. So how do you juggle all that? And then with that comes complexity. Obviously, like when it was just you and your dad, there was probably a lot less complexity than... I don't know if you had staff, but like today it's probably a lot more complex. And then you got a lot of people out in the field that aren't necessarily like in the office, but they're still... You're still responsible for them.
100%.
ResponsAble. And so how do you keep that culture going? Because I think you do a really good job. At least you're intentional in this, that in our discussions. How's your thought? Like, how are you keeping that going?
I think that people want to talk about, like, you know, vision and values and things like that. And I think vision and values are like easier and almost unspoken whenever the business is smaller. And I guess I never took an effort to actually like sit down and write down our values and then put them on the wall for everybody to see. But I think as we've grown, it's just something that has, as you know, cliche as it may seem, like it's just something you kind of have to do. And then now that we've done it, right? So I mean, so you're talking about like, so as we've grown, I found that was just like a necessity to do. And then now that like I have them in our meeting room, like a nice board that I had printed up from a print shop on the wall, I very often will point out and be like, hey, you know, this is what we're, you know, being problem solving. That's what we'll be focused on, you know, being trustworthy. Like, and if things are happening that aren't aligning with that, then we point that out. But also on the flip side, things that are aligning with that, I point that out regularly. So I think that's really helped. And in fact, it's kind of a weird thing. Like I initially, when I printed that up, the vision, I thought that more of like an internal aspect for the people in the four walls of the office. But I find more and more that I'm pointing out for field employee performance, like how we want that to match our core values. So I think that helps align that, you know, as we've grown. So
well, I think you said something interesting there. You're leaning into the positivity of it, and you're actually like not. Like, of course, we have to reprimand or like remind if an action doesn't fit that core value. Right. But I think the better way to do it, and something that I can work on personally, is when you see someone doing the core value, it's like, hey, that is it. Like, you are nailing it. You are doing the core value that we want. And then that positive reinforcement, you just get more of it, right?
That's right. I think that's something that's actually, I think, where we complement each other well. And I think why we always joked we'd make a good podcast is because you and I don't know if you're even familiar like with the Myers-Briggs piece, or even know what I'm talking about.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. So like, I think we are we're both very extroverted, but there's like the F or the T. Like, are you a feeling person or are you a thinking person? You're an extreme like thinker, and I'm on the F side of things. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, being like, hey Gavin, good job on that, core, that core value of being problem solving, or being customer focused. Whereas because I know that you're going to like that, and that's going to make you feel good, and that is some positivity there. But like, I think so often in business there is the opportunity to like holding people accountable. Like, hey, when you did that, that's not quite what we're looking for.
Right.
And that's a day-to-day, function. And that's why people, when they often think about leaders in conversation with their bosses, it falls into that, which I imagine you have no issue having conversations like that. Right.
Well, I don't know. Look, challenging conversations are just unfortunately a part of the game. I think that's what you're referring to. And so a consultant, I think you got your people to listen into it, but Jordan Montgomery, he talked to us and taught us like, to be clear is to be kind. And like, I used to run from that so much. I would be like the guy, I was the guy that like, if there was a problem, like let that thing marinate for 2 weeks and it'll go away.
Oh yeah. That's
and it just
bad idea.
festers and gets bigger. Right. And then, so now it's like, let's just get clear with each other. And then that's actually being kind.
That's a very good way to put it. And I think so, like, again, being high on the F scale of like the feelings oriented, that's tough for sometimes people with that mindset to be like, oh yeah, if I do this could affect the relationship, or this could affect the way the people feel, or how am I going to feel about having this conversation? And as I've grown as a professional, I've worked through a lot of that, because to that point, that's what gives the employee or your company the best opportunities to succeed. And that's ultimately what's most important, is for them to be successful, have gainful employment, to have prosperity from their employment. And that's what you want. That's what they want. And yeah, sometimes it just takes those kind of conversations. But to that point, like, someone once told me that, I don't know if I want to use the word conflict, because conflict sounds negative, but an issue, and again, conflict and issues have a negative connotation, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're negative.
Right.
In this context, is that, it's like those things are like dairy, not wine, meaning they spoil real quick.
Yeah.
So if something happens at work today that's misaligned with the core value, or not quite what we expect from a performance standpoint, if I let that go 2 weeks and then bring it up, then it seems like a much bigger issue than it really is. But if you address it in the moment, on the spot, like it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But the more you let that stuff fester.
Dude, milk versus wine. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Well, because it could just to that point, like, it spoils. Like,
and why let this small little thing that can be corrected like so easy turn into spoiled milk?
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, disgusting.
Although milk's disgusting just in general. But you drink milk?
No, I drink almond milk these days.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but for the time where you need like something of
like a glass of milk, you're just into
gross.
that?
God, no.
Okay,
Who
me
does
neither.
that?
That's disgusting. Like, people drink glasses of milk.
No, they don't.
They do.
Like grown people?
Yeah, I feel like they do.
Adults. Name
They're
one
selling a lot of milk at the store.
Well, of course, yeah, because it's like
for cereal.
No, it's like a prime ingredient in a lot of.
I mean, how many times you use milk in your little cooking things? Never.
I mean, again, I use
Using
almond
some
milk
heavy
on the
whipping
daily,
cream.
but like, a splash here for some coffee and maybe.
Bro,
a
they're selling a lot of milk.
shake.
People are drinking milk. It's disgusting.
That is pretty.
We vibe on that. I do not drink milk.
And who's drinking whole milk?
We buy whole milk in your face.
You do?
But I don't drink it
Then why are you buying it?
because the kids drink it.
They're drinking whole milk?
Got to get the bones,
I
man.
don't know, man. I think you should cut that back to 2%.
This is where the podcast could go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Back to the business. Okay. So we just talked about milk for like 2 minutes. All right. I didn't even have an opinion about milk until today. All right. So
But
here's where I want to go with this. All right. So you're a guy also that you said it's interesting. Like, I've been like having to like stay grounded in like what's working. However, there's these hot flashy things like private equity and you can exit and you can do all this. And you're the guy that's like steadfast. Is like, man, I'm just growing it. Like, I want to do it. I've like challenged you on that and you've been pushed back, which has been awesome. Like, no, dude, I'm in the thing. I like want to build this thing.
Yeah.
And so how have you stayed grounded in what you're trying to do and not let the flashy thing on the side, like,
that's one of the biggest challenges that I think has been for me. And so I often use the word like professional maturity, right? So when I was a more immature professional, and I think all of us kind of with that entrepreneurial spirit struggle with it, and I struggle with it just as much as anybody else. In fact, that's the first thing that I think our initial conversation, I was like, I heard through the grapevine that private equity is a good thing to do. And I was like, man, where do you get that from? And I was like, hey, Gavin, do you have private equity? And that, just spiraled us into where we're sitting today.
Yeah.
But to that point, when I learned what private equity is, and I often say it's flashy and sexy and it looks like, that's what, big movers and shakers are doing. I think that just, again, align with that vision, because some of these things, like you mentioned, private equity or exiting or those kind of things, which a lot of people want to focus on. And there's whole podcasts about that, which make it seem fun and interesting. For me, I guess with the vision piece as well, like it just misaligns with it. And so it seems fun and it seems like something I want to do. But I've often, I surround myself with people who complement my personality or, kind of the way that I think. And I'll question, my business advisors. I've worked with business coaches for a long time. Shout out Crossroads, professional coaching.
They've been awesome for you.
So, but, and Gavin, you're one of those people as well. So, I mean, and even they have like conflict, sometimes your advice may conflict there, but like as a mature professional, I just have to assimilate that information and determine what's best for me and the path that I want to go. So again, having a clear vision, and at this point in time, things like exiting or things like, shifting our money from liquid capital into things that are tied up. It doesn't align with my growth strategy. And so again, just, there's been times where I think we've left our meetings and I was like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. Or, whenever private equity groups come calling and it seems enticing to try to, to see what's on the other side of that. Again, just where we're at right now and where I think our market shares and what our market potential is, it's just, for me, not something that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think what you're going to find is you're going to get rewarded for the commitment you've taken to the goals that you have.
I appreciate
and so
that.
the commitment is the hardest thing.
That's right.
That's like the hard thing.
Right.
Everything else is easy because like, hey, I want to do this. Well, just start doing it. And then, and then the hard could be on the back end, but it's really easy to get into the new thing.
I think I heard your boy Hermosi once say it is like business is purely just like pain tolerance. And some things have come up recently where it just, and I think that's true. And I think for the most part, I've developed just kind of a numbness or high pain tolerance to like some of the difficult things. Numbness may be a bit of an extreme word because it does affect
me. You get
me.
a little numb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying it's just like, it's just dealing with things that if you just pulled some random, person off the street that didn't know you or your business and you just gave them, the 60-second highlight of what you're dealing with, they'd be like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Why are you dealing with that person? Why are you even trying to do that? Man, like I watched this podcast about exiting. I watched this, you shouldn't be doing any of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the whole, like underneath that and what your vision and what your goal is and what you've gone through to get there. I mean, it's just part of it. You have to deal with things that, I tell my daughters this all the time, like life is full of things that you have to do that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. And again, as a professionally immature person, like I would get really worked up about, man, I don't feel like having to deal with this or have this conversation or like, but it is. It's just a lesson in pain tolerance. And so that, I think a lot of folks may get put out with how difficult and how uncomfortable it is. And it's just, if you're not uncomfortable, I remember hearing this like early on in my career, if you're not uncomfortable, then you're not growing. And I really kind of leaned into that. And I purposefully, I think, try to find opportunities that make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that means you're growing. That's so
right.
good.
So like, this is our first podcast. Is it uncomfortable? No, because I think it's you and I chit-chatting, which is a very comfortable situation. But like, even that, like doing podcasts or marketing things, or, you know, attending certain trade shows, or picking up a new customer that's, you know, not in your backyard, and, or working under confines that you're not used to doing. As long as they align with the vision and strategy, I mean, you should put yourself in those circumstances. And it's going to be uncomfortable, but that's what growth looks like.
That's really good. So I didn't want to bring up Hormozy, but you brought him up. So he says it like this: everyone wants to be Rocky because they watch the Rocky like training scene,
right? And
it's 30 seconds long,
right?
But that's like 3 years, right? And then like 3 years to get the 9 minutes in the ring.
It's right.
The 9 minutes in the ring is like, that's the reward. But the 3 years is the problem that no one wants to go through. And you do a good job of just going through that.
You didn't want to bring him up?
No, I mean, you know, everyone that knows me is like, he's good.
He's great. Yeah.
I learned a lot from him.
He's really great. But you know,
maybe he'll be on the podcast next.
I mean, I think we're getting close.
Yeah.
We should hashtag him.
Yeah.
Him and T-Bob. Because I think it's going to either go one or two directions. Either we're going to be on Barstool or Hormozy. Maybe both.
Maybe both.
But one other thing too, and I don't know why I think of it this way. Do you remember that show? Like I think it was called Made on MTV. Do you remember that? Where it's like, I want to be a rapper. I want to be on the cheerleading squad. And it's like, at every single time they'd get like this expert that, you know, they'd sit and like, I'm going to do it. But when it got down to it, to do the work, to meet me at 6 a.m. to do the training, that's when everybody just fell apart.
I'm out. Yeah.
You know,
it's like, I'm not going to do that.
I mean, pull it up. Go YouTube it. There's not a single time where anybody, like, I think was made because they all just fell apart in like doing the work. And the work is not fun. And also I think that's another thing I've had to learn is it takes a lot longer than what you'd expect. I don't know if it's like our age group, the elder millennial piece, where we just want like
elder millennial.
Don't act like that's the first time you've ever heard that.
I've never heard that.
We're on the elder side of it.
The shoulder millennial, like we're in the shoulder part of it.
No, it's called elder.
We're the elders.
Yeah, where we can remember when there wasn't internet.
Yes.
And then there was internet.
That's a huge distinction of who we are.
But I think there's a certain idea of like instant gratification. It's like, man, I've been doing this for like, you know, a few months. Shouldn't this be done and working out? Or, you know, so like it just takes time. And I think if there's anything that I've learned here recently, and it's just been like in the last 2 years, is just the term and idea of consistency has always just kind of been something that's shown up, and I keep thinking about and reflecting on it's just that like consistency. It used to be consistency with my decision making. We were talking about, you know, going towards that flashy new thing where like I want to be consistent in my decision making. So therefore, people who work with me, they get so accustomed to kind of the way that I think that a lot of times they can kind of figure out how John's going to make a decision or what we're going to need to do about this before I even like call him. I need to check on him with something. So that's kind of my first part of consistency, because I think when I was younger, it would be like, you know, if you're going down the river and we're going this way, and then now we're going this way, and you're like, we're all heading in the same direction. We're just taking a long way to get there. But now consistency for me is just like the day in, the day out, the month in, the month out, the year in, the year out, you know, and it's just that level of consistency. And I used to, you know, kind of, and I've still work on it, but like that extreme kind of personality where it's like 100% this way or completely off. And that's back to the work-life balance piece. It never is like if you're looking to like be totally on or totally off, it's never going to work that way. It's just a level of consistency. And again, there's seasons where you're sprinting hard, and there's seasons whenever you're just kind of lightly jogging, but like it's a consistent effort. So
I love that. I think there's a vibe going on about that now though.
Yeah.
Like I think it's flipping back to like, hey, it's hard. It takes a long time. Enjoy the suck. Yeah. And that's our life, and that's good.
And that, you know, and to that point too, like I've made like my physical fitness like a priority since I've turned 40.
You crushed it, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, but that's the thing. Like I've been working on it for like 2.5 years, and like if there's anything that I've come to learn, like it's just, and it's, you know,
takes up forever.
Yeah, and you know, does every meal have to be the best meal of my entire life? Does every workout have to be something I'm just super jazzed up about going to? No, but like those are the ones that are probably the most important, is just getting in the gym and doing the best you can that day, you know, eating the food that you don't really feel like eating, but like, you know, why would you go out of your way to get something that's not healthy for your body at that moment whenever there's a ton of opportunities to partake in that? And man, you just do that day in and day out, and it takes time. And the same thing is for kind of business, you know, all the meetings that you don't want to go to, and all the calls that you don't feel like making that particular day, and you know, and all the late nights and early mornings that you don't particularly feel like dealing with or doing. Like, that's just part of it.
That's the whole deal.
Yeah, and
that's
you just
the
do
Rocky
it,
cutscene.
and you just do it. Yeah, and you just do it consistently for like Rocky for 3 years,
like for 20 years, and then you get a really positive result at the back end.
That's right.
That only lasts for like no time. So the fun is work. Like the most fun days you have is the things like it was hard. You accomplished some things, and then you had fun with some friends or your wife and kids, and like that's a good day.
I think that's what's hard about business as far as like what we do, or maybe just me personally, is that there's not like when you look back, like we talked about, like, I've been doing this, you know, you and I kind of are similar in this, like we just kind of started doing what we're doing right out of college, and now like that puts us at 18 years of doing it. So we've done it for a pretty good while,
long time,
especially for, you know, but
for us elder millennials,
this for us elder millennials. God,
I'm going to use that now.
You're going to make me lose
you
my...
made that up. I'm just telling you.
No, I heard it somewhere. I heard it. Google it. TikTok it, which I'm
Hermosi
sure you don't do. Hermosi. Now I'm distracted. I don't even know where I was going with it.
All right. Well, this I got one or two more questions. Dude, like the best thing about John Cambre are your list.
I'm a list guy.
Dude, the world needs to have your list. So I want you to tell us like 3 lists that you have.
All right.
And then I want to ask you some questions about those 3 lists. And you know you have to include my favorite list that I share everybody.
All right. So first of all, let me just justify why I have to make a list. So there's a lot of things that I do to like, because again, I can be a very scatterbrained, unstructured person. I think like if people that would have known me from high school, like my high school teachers, they would have been like, wait, you know,
you're where you are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and not to say that I've really even gone anywhere, but like I'm just saying, like
you've gone somewhere, John.
But
you
like
are
it's
in
just,
Baton Rouge still. You're making it, man.
But I'm just saying, like it's the thing is like I need structure.
Yes.
So I often say like I crave structure. I like structure.
So back to those lists.
Yeah, I know, but I crave structure and like structure.
Scattered on the list.
I know, yeah. So you can see where I get scattered. So I need the structure. We need a list of things to go after. All right. Well, I'm just trying to justify why I make so many lists so people are
that's a weird list making that the Lord has given you. You just don't realize it.
All right. So 3 lists. First one, I mean, but that I know you just want to get to is I have a king cake list.
Huge in Louisiana. This is good. My mission in life is to make this list the official king cake list of Louisiana. All right, what's your second list?
Let's see. Although it's not quite a list, but it's more of a map, but I could turn it into a list, is I keep track of restaurants in New Orleans that I want to it's broken into 3 categories. Restaurants that I want to go to that I have not been to, restaurants that I've been to and I would like recommend.
Yes.
And then there's like a third piece, which are restaurants that are like top tier, like
can't miss.
You like a you know, a heart is an emoji that you would put next to it. You know, these are the best ones.
And give me your travel list. What's your travel list?
Oh yeah, then my family travel list. You know, places that I want to go, and then also subsequently places that we've been. You know, so I can keep track on that list. So we don't because I'd like, although, you know, you're probably going to call me out. We do go to several places pretty regularly. But again, it's just the age of the kids. But I do want to, as the kids continue to get older, is to broaden our horizons and to know that there's a big blue world out there with lots of different people that, you know, speak lots of different languages and lots of different cultures, and to not be, you know, intimidated by any opportunities that are presented their way because it's, you know, different than what they're used to seeing. That's right. So,
all right. So the question is for everyone listening, which is not going to be many people.
Right. Right. Mom, Dad, and, you know,
Mr. Darryl. So, all right, king cake. What's number 1?
Oh man. Well, let's see. I can go off of memory. So, man.
And just in fairness, this is just an opinion.
Yeah.
So don't be writing or emailing anybody about this.
Yeah. I mean, number 1 is Dong Fong. You know, James Beard Award winning. Now, I will recognize that's a departure from a traditional king cake.
It's
right?
good though.
It's
okay.
It's fantastic.
What's number 2? You give the number 2.
Number 2,
love.
I'd have to go. Now, I think that I'm going from memory. I almost maybe need to pull my phone, but going from memory is high dough, which I think is a course correction back to extremely traditional.
Okay, that's good.
You know, so it's still Vietnamese bakery, which
it doesn't
the
feel
Vietnamese
traditional, but
know how. Well, they know how to bake, right? I think
good
someone
bakers.
told me that French taught Vietnamese how to bake. So like, there's a lot of French.
So it's like a
brioche
thing.
bread, yes. But there's no frosting on it, which is a throwback to the old Mackenzie's, original New Orleans king cake style. Original may be a bit of a sensitive word there, but yeah, it's just old school.
All right, so
just
high
delicious
dough
king.
and
High dough is number 2,
and then
you get into the randazzo's. Boy, look,
And what's your baseline?
Baseline. All right, so a 5 is a Rouse's king cake,
Which is not a knock on Rouse's.
not as a knock on
but
Rouse's.
In
It's
order
just a
to
5.
qualify, you have to be better than Rouse's.
Yeah, so
That's
like
fair.
if you're moving above a 5, then that means you're doing.
We're in king cake territory.
Yeah,
now.
you're like doing great.
But you have to have a baseline.
Right, you have to have a baseline, and then anything worse than Rouse's.
All right, recommend us one New Orleans restaurant to eat at that you've been to.
Oh man, that is
Just one.
a ton. I mean,
Not the one we went to. You fell with me, but it's okay. I'm
That
joking.
was
It was
good.
good. We start off
service.
slow. We're not even gonna go there.
That's a great restaurant.
It was a great restaurant.
But good service is hard to come by sometimes, especially we were there for like a 5:00 reservation. We were catching the.
We made a reservation.
We made a reservation.
No one in the restaurant.
But I mean, they ended up showing up. All right. Let's see. There's a really great place around the corner from where I often stay is Mosquito Supper Club is fantastic.
Mosquito Supper Club.
Mm-hmm.
And then where's the one place you're ready to travel to next that you hadn't been to?
We're actually going to London and then Paris. So we have 5 children. Not 5 children. We're a family of 5.
I was about to say
5 children. Yeah, we're a good Catholic family. So no, we have 3 children, all girls, and our oldest is 8. And so again, we want to travel. We want the girls to have a little bit of culture and understanding of the world. And not to say that travel is a necessity for that, but it's just something that we value and want to do. It's fun.
Yeah. So
fun,
London and
fun
Paris?
is, as you've often told me, is one of my core values.
Yeah, that's a Highland Wealth core value. So you could come to Highland Wealth if it doesn't work out.
Right. So we do like to have fun in the Cambre household. So anyway, we're just me, Amy, and our oldest daughter, Eliza, because we've realized that like to travel the way we want to get plane tickets for 5 people,
It's
hotel
ridiculous.
rooms for 5 people. We're gonna have to wait until like they're in high
47.
school for them to like even appreciate it, and so it's just easier. Now this is our inaugural trip like this, so it's just going to be us 3. But
Boom, I love it.
There we go.
Okay, if you need king cake advice, New Orleans eatery advice, which maybe I mean, no, I'm joking. He knows. And then travel advice. I just have to give you a hard time. Travel advice. I always go to John.
Yeah.
So, dude, I really appreciate you coming on. You're like a wealth of knowledge. We could talk for like 5 hours, and but we do have to cut it.
I guess so.
So we only have so much bandwidth. So on our internet system. So I don't know.
Yeah, but they cut you off.
I don't even know what that means. But dude, I really appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship. Number one, most
Thanks,
important.
man.
I appreciate, dude, you've mentored me in ways that hopefully you now know.
Yeah, it's great.
Through vision and just making me expand my vision for myself and the company that I work at. And dude, we just appreciate you, and the community is
I
like
appreciate
way
you.
lucky to have you.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Thank you
man.
for coming back from exotic Natchitoches.
Right. Settle down. Back to my roots.
If you need another story, just call John. All right, dude. Later.